Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and we've got a market that's back up over 2 trillion. We've got an XRP that's up to $1.22. This thing, let's look at it. It looks like it kind of stuck between $1.14 and $1.28 over the last 24 hours. So it's kind of, I guess, consolidating here, but it looks really good. I mean, that to me, to surge the way it did, and then to fall back and consolidate a little bit, that is exciting, because based on what I've observed, when it happens that way, a lot of times we get a big boom sooner rather than later. Excuse me. Even though this is crypto bull, even though XRP is in the red today, this was yesterday, things are looking great. We won't go to $10 and beyond in one straight line up. There will be small dips. The patient will be rewarded. I agree. And then there's Crypto Bull. He's retweeting this. Serious talk for a second. XRP either goes to $5 from here or it goes to 0. It already had the biggest FUD event it could have had and didn't go to 0. The in-between isn't likely. $1 is further away from $5 than it is from $1. And then Credible Crypto says, been saying it for years. Said it at 18 cents and said it at 30 cents. Said it at 50 cents, said it before the SEC lawsuit, and said it after the SEC lawsuit, said it when no one else believed it, and we'll keep saying it till new all-time high. XRP 2 new all-time high is happening whether you like it or not. I 100% agree with that too. Now, this is from Dark Defender. Hi there all. I promised to update you with the midterm targets based on the first Elliott wave from 50 cents to $1.34. You can check the midterm targets below. XRP targets at least $7. Supports are $1.09, 83 cents. I'll update you also with long-term targets. But here's his midterm. Midterm XRP target $7. But look at this. Third Elliott wave, he's got 1671. Fifth wave, $30.27. I will take any of those and all of them. Okay, yesterday, you remember the organization Empower decided that they were going to do the Freedom of Information request to the SEC about the communications with Hinman, Clayton, and I believe it was Mark Berger, who I still haven't looked into, but I will. Now, Rob Licker sent me some information on Empower, but first I wanted to show you this that was sent to me. Empower Oversight, this is when they did their Freedom of Information request. Now, James Rule says, thank you, Jason Foster. How far will this document go? So this guy, Jason Foster, is one of the people at Empower Oversight, okay? He says, generally speaking, the SEC has 20 business days to reply, though that can be extended. Eventually, a final denial of any request can be challenged in court. The focus here is not on internal deliberative documents, but rather external communications, harder to hide. How about that? Now, so I replied to him because I want them to know that I have a literal library of video and information that I'm more than happy to help them with as far as a knowledge of everything that's gone on, because I've watched all the videos and looked into all of this. Another you may want to look at for your Freedom of Information request is Valerie Stepanek. I think that's how you say her name. Because according to Jay Clayton, she and Hinman were the ICO gatekeepers. Listen to this video. I had put this video up back in August. I'm sorry. I retweeted it today, but I'll have to look. March 28th is when I put it up. Watch this.
So talk through what the process is in the SEC for people who want to come to you and either get advisory opinions or get guidance or actually register offerings.
Look, we are happy to engage with people in this space. In our Division of Corporation Finance, Division of Investment Management, and trading and markets. on all of these issues. Bill Hinman, who you mentioned before, runs our division of corporation finance. We have Val Sespanik. If people have questions, they or their lawyers can come to us. But I will say, if what you're doing is starting a venture and you're funding that venture by issuing tokens, you should start with the assumption that you're conducting a securities offering.
Okay, so I'll talk a bit about the funding model. So we will have a fundraiser for 2 months starting February 1st. It will be available at funds.ethereum.org. So the is part of the initial issuance will be 1,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin, or up to 2,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin if you get in early to compensate for the increased risk. So the issuance model is that we will fundraise. Suppose that we hand out X Ether for the fundraiser, then there will be about 0.5x will be pre-mined, and then 0.4x after that will be mined per year forever.
Okay, so more absurdity. Now, this Jason Foster, I wanted to just show you who this guy is. This Empower organization, these are not jacklegs. These guys were hatched from a congressman, which I'll show you in a second. These are sharp cats right here. Jason Foster, he's the founder and president of Empower Oversight. And as you go down, you'll see right here, he was the chief investigative counsel for the Committee on the Judiciary in the U.S. Senate, senior investigative counsel, Committee on Finance, U.S. Senate, senior counsel, Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs, U.S. Senate, senior counsel, Committee on Government Reform, U.S. House of Representatives. So what I'm showing you this for is to let you know that it looks like the cavalry has arrived. The good guys have shown up to the party to make a little sense out of this nightmare that we've been watching, which is a nightmare of things that don't make sense. And these guys are trying to make some sense. Now, I was also pulled this up just to show you. This is the lady. I mean, I couldn't even begin to say that name right, I bet. But this is the lady that Jay Clayton had mentioned there as the person that worked with Bill Hinman as like the gatekeeper for these people that are wanting to do ICOs. Now, this is also a video, and then I'll get to this Empower organization. This is also a video that's got that Val Sespanik in one of the videos I made. This is I had done this back on May 15th. Watch this.
And today that team is headed by Val Sespanik, who is a senior advisor to me for all of the fintech work that we are doing. And she has over 5 years experience, in this particular area, and over 20 years experience at the SEC, very seasoned, very well known in the digital asset community, and I think highly regarded, and a terrific person to help us focus our efforts across all the divisions.
So the basic test is
that's her.
When folks contribute something of value to a common enterprise with a reasonable expectation that they will profit based on the efforts of others. And these are the significant managerial or entrepreneurial efforts of others. And many times when you see tokens issued on a blockchain, it really is promoters of an enterprise trying to raise capital to fund whatever project they have, to build the enterprise, to make it profitable, whether that's to build the network or complete a blockchain or involve other participants into the network to make that token valuable over time. These are the kinds of things that we have to look at to determine whether or not something's a security. So if it fits these characteristics, essentially we're looking at it like it is a security. I think the chairman pointed out that many of the ICOs he has seen have the characteristics of securities. I think that's the case. I've looked at many of these things myself, and I think it's a rare circumstance where you don't have an enterprise kind of getting started issuing tokens that aren't issuing securities. So
Ethereum started with a pre-sale and an ICO, which we'll be talking about 72 million Ethereum. Vitalik wanted to raise money. He was maybe 19 years old. He looped in with a venture capitalist from Canada, Joe Lubin, who now runs Consensus. Lubin took about 10% or 9.5% of the offering. They put 9.5% in a foundation called the Ethereum Foundation, and the other 80% was sold to the public for $18 million.
So the So remember, Gary Gensler knows that Ethereum issued an illegal security. Zapanic knows, Hinman knows, Jay Clayton knows. They all know. And remember, all of these people, Gary Gensler wasn't there at the time, but all the others were. From 2014, when Ethereum did the ICO, to 2018, when Hinman declared it a non-security because it had become decentralized, there was 4 years there where the SEC did not enforce the law. And that right there is where all the buzzard smell is, right there. Because there's a reason, and these guys have never had to answer what the reason was that they didn't do their job for 4 years. Now, I'm not saying that Clayton and them were running the show during that time the whole time, but they were for at least a year or two. I don't remember the exact number on that. But it was left alone. Not only was it left alone, back in 2017, ICO, all these companies are issuing ICOs. It's a big, huge problem. Well, there's one digital asset that all of those ICOs were being hatched from, and the SEC allowed it, and that's Ethereum. All of them. They were all being created on Ethereum. And Ethereum was given a 4-year free pass, that almost as if the SEC was intentionally waiting on them to become decentralized so they could send Hinman to a microphone and say, it's, in my opinion, of course my opinion is it's decentralized and therefore not a security, even though it was. Man, there are buzzards circling around this, and guess what? These guys that are looking into this now, let me tell you what, someone out there was listening, because this is an article from July 2021, former Grassley staffers launch whistleblower support organization. Acolytes of Iowa Republican U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley, who the New York Times once described as a sort of patron saint of whistleblowers, launched an organization to advocate for whistleblowers and whistleblowing on the same day that President Joe Biden signed legislation to co-sponsor okay? And this was something. But then down here, also Tuesday, Grassley's former staffers announced the launch of Empower Oversight. That's the same organization that just did this Freedom of Information Act request. A 501c3, a team of investigators, lawyers, and veteran law enforcement officers will be dedicated to strengthening the public integrity through research, education, and the help of patriotic whistleblowers. Empower Oversight whistleblowers and oversight, or Empower, will work to help insiders report corruption to the proper authorities and hold them accountable to act on those reports. Now remember, Gary Gensler literally was bragging the other day about how the SEC will pay whistleblowers. I made Gary Gensler aware that I'm a whistleblower. I'm trying to blow the whistle on what Ethereum did because the SEC did not do its job for 4 years. Okay? I'm a whistleblower. Well, I'm not getting paid to be a whistleblower, but the way I see it, I've blown the whistle as loud as anyone. Why is the SEC not awarding me some money and doing an investigation into the Ethereum ICO? I don't know. But I'm hoping that these guys are going to be real whistleblowers, because so far it hasn't been done. Now, let's make sure we call out who hasn't done their job. Now, I don't know if behind Empower is Grassley and some of these Congress people. Maybe that's where this starts, because we've all been out here telling the truth about all this. Maybe that's how all that got started. But let's show you who has not been doing their job, and don't think for a minute that they do not know all about this. CNBC, not only has CNBC not been covering the Clayton and the Hinman stuff, not only have they not covered, I'm assuming they've been paying Jay Clayton to be a consultant on CNBC. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable that these guys call themselves a finance media outlet. It's unbelievable. And I said, all you traditional financial media who ignored this story, I made them well aware of it. I think I called it the financial news story of the century, because that's what it is. All you traditional financial media who ignored this story are about to look real bad. And I almost used something else, because all of these people are complicit. CNBC, Andrew Ross Sorkin, how many times has he had Jay Clayton on his show and not asked him a lick about this? Jim Cramer, these guys all know. They all know. They haven't said a word about what's going on here. New York Times, Maria Bartiromo, who I've always thought was one of the good guys in financial media. She hasn't said a lick about this, and she knows about it. We've copied her in on this. Look, between me and all the people in XRP on Twitter, hundreds of thousands of times this has been put in front of all of these people. They've done nothing. They've said nothing. They've probably been told you're not allowed to say anything. But if that's the state of the financial media in this country, we've got some real scary problems, because the truth has now become secondary to the narrative, and the question then becomes who's creating the narrative, and what are their incentives and financial incentives? That's downright scary that our free media is no more. Now, Real XRP Boy puts this out. This 2020 banger from FSOC, which is a government organization, calls XRP a digital asset like Bitcoin and others. I'm no genius, but that sure as fuck don't sound like a security. SEC, was I supposed to know, and the millions of folk that purchased XRP from an institutional provider. Real XRP Boy is illustrating more absurdity. Then James Phelan had put this out yesterday. This is Ripple has filed opposition to the SEC's motion to compel Ripple to search for and produce relevant Slack communications. Okay, now Ripple this is Ripple's response, and one thing caught me that I was kind of surprised by. I wanted to show you this part. This is on, let me think here. So the lawsuit was dropped against Ripple in December 2020 by Jay Clayton. But this says on August 10th, 2020, more than 2 years into the SEC investigation, which means that the SEC had been investigating this since 2018 and been making requests to Ripple since 2018, which is even wilder here. Okay? So that right there caught my attention. Now, finally, I wanted to show you this from Ron Hammond. This is one of the guys that's up at Congress. I guess he's like a lobbyist type. Let me see exactly what he is. He is Director of Government Relations at the Blockchain Association. This week in Congress and crypto, with the House set to return to D.C. next week to vote on the infrastructure bill and budget resolution, a small united group of crypto policy experts look for paths forward to amend the current language, but general politics can get in the way. So basically, they're up there going to meet with all these politicians to see if they can get this amendment into this, I think. But this is the most important part to me. While chances to amend the infrastructure bill are low, there's still a chance, and much of it depends on the procedure Speaker Pelosi decides on, as well as the general politics regarding the infrastructure bill. It is unclear if amendments will be allowed, but likely not. So, if this is counting on Nancy Pelosi and her politics, I'm not going to be holding my breath out here. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family to not hold your breath on this infrastructure bill as far as crypto goes. If it's depending on politics of these clowns, I don't know if I'm going to be holding my breath.